Hello, all my dear friends. This is Maxine Taylor with our forecast for for June for the United States. My summer months are running in together. Um, we will see what's going on. Um, a quick announcement. Many of you have asked me if I'm going to be teaching. Yes, I am. I'll be offering a class within the next few weeks. I have to look and find the most appropriate date. If you are interested in studying astrology with me, just go to my website and MaxineTaylor.com and send me an email. Give me your contact information, and I will put you on a list and I'll call you and I'll tell you what I'm going to teach and how long it'll take you to, if you choose to be a practicing astrologer, I will support you in that. The reason I'm doing this is the way the I'm trying to be tactful. The way our country is going now, we need more light rather than more darkness. Got it? Good. Okay. I will work with you uh, on an astrological and a metaphysical level, if you would like. And you will be able to stay in the light. And so then when you go forward, people are going to say, "What is it that you've got?" Well, you'll have the light because you'll know that you are the light. Okay. So let's go back to the stars, shall we? This is the horoscope for June for the United States. And those of you who have been following me for years know that um, a birth chart is divided into 12 points, whether it's a person's chart or a country's chart. But the houses, the definition, the interpretation, the translation of the houses, that's different in a mundane chart, which would be a country's chart, versus your own chart. And so, once again, I'm going to read off. This is my cheat sheet. Um, all all of the houses that are activated in June for the United States. And so let's just let's just start. All right. Now, we've got some fabulous aspects. However, I'm not sure on what level they're going to be manifesting. Now, I'm going to read the first and second house definition, houses definitions, because we have the first house and the second house very strongly activated this month. Um, and this could be wonderful news. So bear with me for a minute while I read you a lullaby, while I remind you, and many of you already know this. If you know it, fast forward, okay? The first house in a mundane chart indicates the attitude uh, and political mood of the people. Well, it has been volatile. I mean, when I first saw that there was all kinds of activity around the United States ascendant, I saw that a couple of years back. I was very concerned. And now, um, everything that could everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. So here's the first house. Now they're not all negative. I don't want you to think that. But when you're dealing with millions of people versus sweet darling you and your chart, the difference is day and night. So the first house, um, in a mundane chart is the attitude and political mood of the people. In the United States chart, the actual chart itself, every astrologer has their own favorite USA chart. So typical, no two astrologers think alike, or agree on anything, or everything, I should say, because there are some people who do think alike, and that's beautiful. All right. The first house is, as I said, the attitude of the people on a the political level, and it's also public health. And of course, this was activated for during a COVID, etc. So the chart that I use is the 7 Gemini chart on the ascendant. 7 Gemini for the rising sign, and 8 Gemini for Uranus sitting on our ascendant. Remember, our country started as a result of a revolution. And if you've been following me over the years, you know that I've already said, put my 2 cents worth in on what will be happening to the United States during 2034 to 39. Very, very powerful time. It's already there. So, and the other house that is very, very active this month, and that's the one I was so excited about, is the second house that deals with money, earnings. And I hear you saying, wait, stop right there. Earnings have been horrible. Money's been horrible. Hang in there. Money, earnings, savings, finances of all sorts, the stock exchange, stock market, banks, debts, and escrow. And this would be, when I say debts, this can also be personal debt. Our money has, well, if you live in this country, you know where you stand financially. So let's talk about it. And by the way, if I have not done your chart and you are interested in having me do either your birth chart or your forecast and all of the spiritual readings that I give along with it that lift your energy, just go to my website, MaxineTaylor.com. Give me a call. I will call you back. Okay. All righty. So let's just start with the sun as it moves through the zodiac. The sun is the giver of life. It is sitting in that first house of the attitude of the people. What planet is it sitting on? Mars, the planet of war. Hello. We've seen it. We see it from the people in government, in the top echelons. We also see it everywhere else where people are rebelling. And we don't always know why we are rebelling, but the rebellion began a couple of years back. You know that. So the sun has been and will continue to be in the first house until it moves into the second house of money on the 21st. All right. This can be awesome. However, the sun sitting on Mars, well, it's initiating war. It's pulling anger up and out. It's expressing anger all over our country because this is the mood of the people. We are the people. And some of the people in power have forgotten that. Wait a minute, that's not true. They never had it. They never had it. And they're making money hand over fist. And that's just what's so. You may not like it. I may not like it. If I don't accept what is, I'll be stuck in anger. I won't do that to me. But, and this is why I'm teaching astrology, because I want more people in the light. The light is stronger than the darkness. So, on the 11th, I'm just a couple of days away. Expect a little turmoil there in the first house. And he may be laughing or chuckling, saying, is it going to be any different than it's been before? Probably not. Probably not. Uh, I'm not in a position to change the planets. Believe me, if I could, I would. All right. The sun then uh, activates anger among the people, the citizenry. On the 21st, the sun moves into the second house of money. Now we have a gorgeous second house in our chart. The I got papers everywhere. The definition of the second house, some of you have it memorized. You astrology students, you know what this is. Money, earnings, savings, finances, stock exchange, banks, and debts, and commerce and trade. Okay, everything money can buy. The sun sits on Venus. Venus is the ruler of the natural second house in astrology, whether it's personal astrology or mundane astrology. And when the sun sits on Venus, I would expect income. I would expect blessings because Venus is love and money and beauty and art and love some more. And when you have Venus in your second house, and the United States does, we should see something positive with our income. I have no idea what, but I always say, God hasn't carried me this far to drop me now. Um, on the 26th, the sun sits on Jupiter, the greater benefic. So we've got Venus and Jupiter that we've had, and we've got it in the second house of money. And even though there are times when you don't know where your next meal is coming from, I know some of you know what I'm talking about. Um, this is a blessing on us. How will it manifest? I do not know. Um, in the chart of the United States, good grief, I, I thought I had a copy of it. Well, Venus rules the 12th house in the United States chart. It backs up into the 11th, but there can be all kind of hidden things that create income for all of us, any of us. I think I'll stop there, let you think about that for a second. Anyhow, the two good guys are activated by the giver of life. I'm going with Jupiter and Venus. And then on July 4th, we have a solar return. Don't you love it? If you have a solar return. I just celebrated a birthday. So I had a solar return, and that is the exact minute that the sun returns to its natal place in your birth chart. It's a different place, meaning a different house every year. It is a different chart every year. I have, I love the solar return chart. Yes, you can do it for your pets as well. Um, Anyhow, our solar return is July 4th. Okay. For those of you who have computer programs that go back that far, um, see what, well, you may have to do it by hand. Um, See what it says for the United States. I'm going to do it myself. I don't know if my program, my computer program that I use goes back to 1776 or, but if it does, I'll share it with you. All righty. So these two areas, the first house of the emotional and political tone, and the second house of money and what money can buy, and everything dealing with money, like the banks, etc., are activated again by the sun, which is beautiful. Now, new moon, full moon. Um, on the 6th of June, let's see, today. Today is the 2nd of June. So, in just a few days, we are going to have a full moon. And by the way, those of you who live in Atlanta, I do my monthly full moon forecast together. It's a ceremony, a beautiful ceremony. And I'll be doing that, of course, this month also. Just it's at the Phoenix and Dragon bookstore. And everybody's welcome. It's free of charge. Just come join me. Um, it's quite beautiful because of the people who attend. So the new moon, excuse me, the full moon is in the seventh house. On the full moon, everything comes to a head, and we've got plenty to come to a head. The seventh house in a mundane chart rules international affairs. Oh my goodness. That covers the waterfront right there. War, lawsuits, the law itself, um, lawyers. I can't read my own handwriting, bear with me. Politics, marriage, divorce, the lower courts. All right, so we got that. And of course, the public itself. So this is the area of other people. Now, the seventh house, also, although it's not written here, it deals with our open emeries. Emeries. I was going to say, um, it's not that we're necessarily fighting a war, a physical war. We know who our open enemies are and the energies that they put out. You can work very well when you know who your enemy is. The 12th house in a mundane chart deals with our hidden enemies. I mean, I remember talking about that when JFK was murdered, and the astrological community that I was involved in at the time was torn between, oh yeah, we'll find out who did it. And that 12th house said, there you have it. So, oh, and the seventh house deals with all contracts. And if you've been following the news, you know that contracts have been broken recently. Well, not even recently. as far back as uh, two terms. Um, Contracts have been broken, period. Bottom line. So that's the full moon. So perhaps we will learn more about people who claim to be our friends. Then 2 weeks after that, we have a new moon. And look at here. It's right there on that second house of money and income. It is sitting on Venus and Jupiter. Let's see, I didn't give you the coordinates. The full moon, I'm backing it up for a second. The full moon on the 11th is in 20 Sagittarius. Do you have 20 Sagittarius in your chart? We all do somewhere. Find it because that's when things come to a head. Our open enemies, we're going to know who they are. We're going to deal with it. The new moon, uh, which comes after the dark of the moon, the new moon is when things start moving forward. Okay, that's on the 25th, and it's in 4 degrees of Cancer. It sits on Venus and Jupiter, which is so, I mean, our buds, our good friends, Venus and Jupiter, they are the two good planets, the two good guys. And then on the 4th, that moon, that new moon, I'm pulling it in because Venus, Jupiter, and the sun in our birth chart, the United States chart, and I'm speaking to everybody who now lives in America. Um, that's what we're talking about. So when I saw that, I thought, perhaps there's hope, financial hope for the populace. Think beautiful thoughts for yourself. All right, let's keep on going. Just two more I want to share with you. Um, the planet Venus. I've got it in pink. The lesser benefic. Look what house it's sitting in. It's in the 12th house, the house of mystery, the house that possibly never divulges its secrets. Here is the definition of the 12th house: bribery, spies, hidden enemies. The 7th house, open enemies. The 12th house, don't trust anyone, including your mama. It's you, they're hidden, well hidden very often. Um, Prison, jails, hospitals, crime and criminals. No comment. Those of you who know me, you know what I'm talking about here. Okay, charitable institutions. So you see the good and the bad are ruled by the same house. The choice is yours. The choice is mine. I choose love. And the people who know me and who are taking my Secrets from the Womb class know about love. All right. Charitable institutions, seclusion, the past, secret societies. Um, I include all of the organizations that have a military tone, perhaps, to them, because they are secret societies. Um, that's just how it's written. And welfare. And when astrology was, came to life here in the United States, um, people had slaves. To me, that's just unthinkable. Well, we have slaves now, and they're being deported. Um, and that 12th house, because it's prisons and prisoners, you can see how they're united. So we took care of Venus. It's going to be in that 12th house, hopefully, 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 spreading love and light. So that's two things, the second house and Venus in the 12th. I'm sending out lots of light to dear Venus. Now let's look at Jupiter. Jupiter is the greater benefic. It's truth, it's honesty, it's expansion. It's in the first house. It's been in the first house. And this is why we've had so many rebellions, so many people marching for good causes. And some of those causes I truly believe in, and others I don't. And I'm sure you feel the same way. We still have our brain. We can still think. Okay. On the 10th, get ready. Jupiter joins Venus in the second house of money. And so it expands it. Now, I have seen over the years that Venus and Jupiter, uh, if they're not, if they're afflicted in any way, um, it turns out to be too much of a good thing. And you pay the price later. And that's why I'm hesitating just a little bit. You guys who've studied astrology for a zillion years, like I have, are familiar with that. Um, if you have Venus or Jupiter afflicted in your birth chart, you can't walk by a chocolate bar. I'm exaggerating, but it's too much of a good thing. Too much makeup, too much food, too much sugar. Venus is sugar. So I don't know, but it sits on Venus from the 19th to the 23rd, and it sits on natal Jupiter from the 27th through the 30th. And then, of course, in July, it will sit on the sun. So, fingers crossed about finances. Finally, let me tell you what's going on here with Mercury. Now, Mercury is not an action planet. I've said that often enough, so you're probably sick of hearing it. It's a thinking planet. It's a communication planet. All right. Mercury, did I say Venus? I meant Mercury. And Mercury is not even retrograde. I'm seeing people marching around, included, where, did I say that? What's going on? I need some Venus and some Jupiter. Mercury is in the first house of our United States chart. There's a lot of talking, but it's on Mars on the 4th. And so there's a lot of yelling, arguing. Um, look at social media. There are people who are giving information left and right. And the populace is angry. Um, of course they are. Of course they are. We want to feel loved and wanted, and we want it showing up in our wallet. No more comments. Okay. On the 7th, Mercury moves into our second house of money. And so there are new ways of earning money, perhaps. Maybe people will get their income tax back earlier than they had expected. Who knows? But Mercury is what you think about and talk about. In the first house, sitting on Mars, there's no talking, there's yelling, there's arguing, okay? On Venus and Jupiter, there's talking, communicating. I think it's wonderful. So on the ninth, as I mentioned, Mercury and Venus are chit-chatting on and Mercury keeps activating our second house because whatever you put your attention on grows. Whatever you talk about grows. Whatever you think about grows. That's the money house. Start thinking. I mean, I'm thrilled to be able to give you something that looks positive. So I'm pretty excited about this. And then on the 11th, uh, along with Jupiter, Mercury sits on the sun. And what this can do is open new ideas that give you new avenues for income. You know, our world has changed totally. Um, and there are new classes. I can't even pronounce their names. Fortunately, I don't have to. Now, Mercury is going to move into the third house by the end of this month. And that means Mercury is going to be talking up a storm. Let me just look here for a second. On the 22nd, Mercury, my handwriting's atrocious, will have a Mercury return. And I didn't write it in here. But when we have a Mercury return, there's lots of communication, lots of talking. So let me read you the second house. Um, news, news reporters, um, communication, the mail, gosh, um, public opinion, traffic, travel. Travel's been crazy. Books, newspapers, neighborhoods, um, schools, teachers, and public transportation. Our news people are going to become even more active. There will be more talking, more sharing. The difficulty I've seen is to know who's telling the truth and who's not. And a lot of people have been hypnotized by a good salesman. So keep your wits about you, check things out, and please join me next month when once again I try to figure out what's going on through my handwriting. Um, seriously, I look forward to being with you. Some of you are very highly educated, and I appreciate your comments. Some of you just want hope and reassurance. And I hope that I've given that to you now because I'm feeling a whole lot better myself. So, till we meet again. May the stars shine brightly on you and yours, my dear friends. Bye for now.